There's no democracy in this world, no democratic leader in this world, not one. Yeah, as long as a country is religious, as long as a country is a capitalist country, as long as we have leaders who are imperialist, then there's no democracy and there's no democratic leader in this world. I love how this woman just put it the best. Take your moment and watch this video.
There is no democratic president in the world. And I say truly, who is the democratic president? Trump? Obama? Who is here in Britain? We should be clear. Democracy is an illusion. We cannot have democracy in a capitalist, imperialist, patriarchal system, religious system.
Why not?
Because this is, they want money. Because if you remove religion and capitalism and imperialism, then you will have socialism. And then no government will be there, you know. They are afraid of the real power of the people. You cannot have democracy. Because what is democracy? Democracy is real freedom.
But if you believe that none of these democracies are democracies, why do the people live with it?
Because people are oppressed. People are not organized. We are prevented from organizing. That's the key point. When I was an individual writer, even if I become famous and star, they allow me, but not to organize. The minute I started to organize women and men, I became a danger. You are not organized here. The people here are not organized.
But nobody is stopping organization here.
But they stop it.
No government is going to come and lock you up or kill you in Britain, are they?
But in a subtle way. I know the American way.
We are back to the dark era of abductions and arbitrary arrests, when people are disappeared, missing, taken, kidnapped, abducted. And I'm not sure it is by thugs, but in some cases, the trail leads right to security officials. And yes, let's not debate this term. Those are abductions. Because folks, there is a proper procedure to how arrests are and should be done. We all know it. What we have here with masked men in plain clothing who don't identify themselves and grab people in the dead of night or in plain daylight is just pure thuggery. And it is that thuggery that we seem to have normalized. In 2024, 14 years after the promulgation of the Constitution, political dissent, difference of opinion, and the right to gather peacefully is something that the powers that be seem to be quite uncomfortable with. You see, in a period of just 2 months, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has recorded over 60 abductions and a record 682 arbitrary arrests. Those are not just numbers. They represent families and loved ones who are in great pain and anguish. And the incidents are as bizarre and as unacceptable as one would imagine. Take, for instance, Joseph Mwangi, a young 28-year-old who was abducted during the protests in June, blindfolded and driven to an unknown location. His family searched and searched for him for days, well beyond the 24-hour requirement to produce an arrested person in court. He was found 1 month later. 1 month later. And this was after being transferred between multiple stations. And who can forget veteran journalist Macharia Gaitho, who was abducted at, of all places, a police station. Pray tell, when they roughly bundled him into a car within the precincts of a police station, where were they taking him to? I mean, aren't suspects usually taken to a police station, being arrested, rather than away from one? And also, when in danger, don't you run to a police station for refuge, only to get abducted in one? Folks, isn't it interesting how people are abducted by unknown people, but found at police stations? I mean, are we to believe that these are thugs who are conducting these abductions? taking people, but then they take them to a police station? Isn't that curious? But yet our security officials are much better at singing Shaggy's "It Wasn't Me" than the singer himself. DCI director in a meeting with the Kenya Editors Guild said that the DCI is not involved in the rampant kidnappings we've witnessed in the country. So how is it that people taken by masked men are released from police stations? But it is also what he said after that that is more shocking. And allow me to quote him. He said, "I wish I knew where the missing Kenyans are." This is the man in charge of keeping Kenyans safe. He doesn't know where the missing Kenyans are, and he wishes he did. So if he doesn't know where they are, who should? Now, I note that this statement was not followed by a promise to look into the kidnappings and find the missing and arrest those who are behind the kidnappings, because obviously it's not the police. But you have a rather helpless shrugging of the shoulders. And this denial, or even worse, the silence of the police in the wake of abductions, is most worrying and rather curious. Folks, you see, it's sort of starting to become normal for us to wake up every day in this country to a hashtag on social media saying "free so-and-so." Is it normal for us to be airing stories of missing persons abducted on an almost daily or weekly basis? Jamil Longton Hashim, Aslam Longton, Bob Njagi, where are they? Almost 2 weeks later. Are the police not the least bit concerned about their whereabouts? What of the court order to produce them in court? Where is the effort to find them and others who've been abducted? How far is the investigation into finding them and dozens of others? How many witnesses have they spoken to? What leads are they chasing? Do we have any updates on this, other than their categorical denial that they are not themselves involved? And why is this starting to become such a normal occurrence in Kenya now? So the police aren't behind it. They wish they knew who was. So now, tufanye? And just today, Mr. President, I'd like to address you. You made this promise, and I quote, "Under my administration, I do not want a situation where Kenyans disappear." Mr. President, you further said, "I want to promise the people of Kenya that under my administration, there will be no Kenyans in Rivayala or any other place." Well, Mr. President, we have Kware now, and there are families tonight who are missing their loved ones. Is this a promise you intend to keep?
It's actually very true that there is no democracy in this world. No democracy, no democratic leaders in the world. They have been there. They're the one who drew the constitution. They're the one who structured the laws. They're the one who derived everything that we have. They named them. They designed them in a way that at the end of the day, it favors them, not a citizen, not a poor person. You see? So as long as, I love how the woman put it, that as long as a country is so much into religion, as long as a country is so much into capitalism, as long as a country is so much into imperialism, like sisi ndio kusema, we are the dominants, we are the one who make decisions, we're the one who oversees. As long as the country is led by dictators, there's no democracy. So, when you hear a leader stands before the congregation on the high places and they announces that this is a democratic country, you should be very careful about what you're about to hear, because all those ones are lies. Why do you think that we must demonstrate for some sort of change to come? And those changes are short term. You see, they fix a situation that settles your anger and still go back to the same thing. Look at the finance bill. Somehow we are like, we don't need this finance bill, but what are we operating on the same finance bill? Yeah. So as a religion is a business. A business. You see, as long as religion became business, it lost its sense to enlighten people, tell people the truth, tell people what is supposed to be done, make people understand the belief system and how they can get themselves from the entanglement to set them going. So the religion will never tell you the truth, because once you know the truth, nobody will go to church. Nobody will go to the worshiping places. No one. Because people will be so much aware on what is supposed to be done. Because now, people have been put into hypnosis by who? By the promises by the government. By the very fancy manifestos that the politicians give. Religious leaders do the same thing. Hope, faith, believe. They will never teach you to know. They will never teach you to become. No, because that is a threat to them. You see. Now, once you decide to let people know the truth, you are painted black. You are a target. You are an antichrist. You are an enemy. You see what happened to Osama? You see what happened to the Haitian, the Haiti barbecue? So many people who rise against the government, they are painted black. Muammar Gaddafi, painted black. That's a black spot. We have to take it away. Who does that? The capitalist, the imperialist, the religious leaders. They're the ones who spread wrong rumors. And now people, because people believe, so it is easy for them to blend in and fight against people and fight against themselves even when they don't know the truth. You see. So we need to be, okay, if you want to live well in this world, without just saying a lot of forest of words and desert of points, here's what we can do. If you want to change the world, somebody put it the best. If you want to change the world, that change that you want, become it. And then the second thing you do, then share it to the person next to you, either your wife, your mother, either your dad or your children, not even your friends. That's the best thing you can do. Anything that you want to see in the world, stop spreading it, become it, enjoy it, live, create that world within you. Because there's no freedom. You are told demonstrate. You have right to speak. You have right for speech. Yeah, you speak. But who do you speak to? You can't speak to a constitution. No. You speak to lawyers and politicians. These two people, lawyers and the politicians. Yeah, but now mostly you talk to politicians. And the politicians are the capitalists. Politicians are imperialists. They're the one to decide whether they're going to do this or not. And if they blend into what you say, it is going to be short term. Yeah. And whatever the plan must be at the end of it has to serve their interest. And that is the world we are living. So never should you blend into what the politicians say. Because it is not them. It is the group they have entered into: political class, religious institutions, capitalists. When you enter into such void, you become, you become a professional liar. As long as you go through the system of education, it tells you exactly who you're supposed to become. And that's why in Kenya, everybody think when they speak, they release themselves, and then some people else are going to hear them. And they're going to do something about what they have said. But the point is, even if I speak good to you, you got a decision to choose what to take in and what not to take in. Some people have to come and criticize because of who they are from inside. You see. So, change doesn't just come. And I think that change, let it rise all the way from you. There's no democracy and there's no democratic leader. You become a democratic leader by yourself. Otherwise, we will continue singing the same song until the end of time. So let's wake up.